Yes. Thank you guys for pushing me into this.
We were literally pushing. He was working until today.
Yeah.
And he still did a little bit of retouches.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see the masterpiece that Mark made. Mm-hmm. And we're gonna show a lot more about the process videos during this interview.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So it's a reminder that this is for the Palapa Society. This is an auction. The bidding right now, it's a 4,500. Yes, you've been doing really good.
Wow.
We have people fighting over it. It's like it's changing every hour. So if you want to bid now. We have all the information here. This goes for the Palapa school. This is for the kids. We're doing this for the youth of Todos Santos. And thank you so much for being here with us, for watching. And so let's start. Let's start, please. So, how are you? How was it?
I'm good. It was a really great experience.
Okay.
I mean, when I say you pushed me into it, obviously we fell into this together, and I knew that it would be a little bit. I mean, I always have good intentions of finishing like a week early, and because I like to sit with things and look at them when I think they're finished and make sure they are, and that almost never happens. So I knew our timeline would be a little bit up to the wire,
Yeah.
And it was, but it was super fun. I had a great night last night and early this morning until the roosters crowed. But I'm really happy with where we are.
So what's the title for the people that haven't been reading the messages? What's the title of the piece?
So this is the queen. This is La Reina. She's been wanting to make an appearance, I think, for some time, because we talked about at the beginning the inspiration piece would be the El Rey.
Okay.
Same dimensions,
Yeah.
Very similar composition, and he's always wanted his companion, and I think
He told you?
Yeah,
Okay.
Well, they speak to me.
Oh, okay. In your dreams or when you're awake?
I might talk to them all the time.
Okay.
Awake or asleep. And so I thought, as an inspiration, I would reintroduce El Rey and maybe bring his queen along, and then somewhere in the process, he was just out of the picture because it was her time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was her time. I mean, this could be him, but I think it's just one of her friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's a girls' night out.
It's a girls' night out.
Okay.
Totally, yeah. So she's solo, and this is her big debut.
Okay, I love her debut. Thank you so much for doing this, for showing up, for working so hard,
My pleasure.
for being interested in every detail, you and Jesse, of the process and of all the postings and the videos. You were so into it. You were not just oh yeah, I'll do this, and no, you were putting your heart and soul, and we really appreciate that.
You guys are amazing. Yeah, you guys do such a good job with the Palapa Society, and it's just a little part that I can do to help.
Yeah, well, this is all for the kids, this is all for the youth, this is all so that our youth of Todos Santos can have a quality education, that they can reach all their dreams, that they can know that everything is possible. So please, if you cannot bid for this painting, you can always make some donations, so go into the website and any donation helps. And now I think we're gonna see the video, a little bit of the process.
Okay.
Of the last video that we shared yesterday. This is the continuity, la continuidad pues sería en español. And we're gonna see this right now, so stay tuned and bid.
Sí.
Okay. Wow. I love how all the ocean changed in a few seconds. Sorry. So we can see that you're using different colors in this painting than your usual colors.
It's interesting. I mean, I think I mentioned before, maybe when we were talking, but also maybe in one of the videos earlier, that every piece is also a surprise for me. And I feel like if I'm surprised, then the people who are interested in buying it or coming to the gallery are going to be surprised too. If I'm bored and whatever, then I think that'll show up in the final result. That's my feeling about it. Although we both know that sometimes we hate a painting that we've done and other people love it, so we have to like, okay, everybody has their own thing. But I have to say that, I did start mixing in some other blues with my greens that I usually use a very limited palette, like two blues, and I've been sort of incorporating some other ones. So I really liked seeing the water come together for that reason. It was I knew I didn't want to. I've been doing a lot of all dark oceans lately, and I wanted to get back to some of this coral, reefy, shallowy colors that you get in the Gulf of California and around. So I started throwing in some different blues, and I'm really happy with how it turned out.
I'm really happy also. It's really good.
Yeah.
So the bidding, it's gonna end up at 4 p.m. So you still have 50 minutes, 48 minutes to bid. Now it is at 4,500, and well, the people that haven't been connecting in the past, this is Mark's he's gonna do only like 3 more whales. Or 4, something like that. But this is like the whale era is about to end. So this is your chance to take a whale and to help at the same time. Like art, education, community, all in the same auction. So what was your favorite part of the process?
Well, that's a good question. I think one of the more difficult parts of the process that I wasn't my least favorite, but presented some challenges was the filming of it.
Okay.
So having to step back because I get very, you see something on the table and you just need to start fixing it, working on it, and then you realize, I gotta put the camera on so that people can see this process. So that was one of the more difficult sides. But on the flip side of it, watching like the videos that you guys are seeing, before I sent them out, I try not to listen to my voice, but I definitely watched them. And I think my favorite part of the process was watching the time lapse of my own thing come together, because I'm so in not a trance, but it's so subconscious, what I do, and it's all feel, and so that's also why the camera kind of got in the way, because it's sort of a very, you have to remember this is something you have to do. But once the camera's on, I was working, it was fine. But especially the time lapse, because, I don't know what the calculation is, but 40, 50 minutes of painting down to like 30 seconds or something, is especially apparent in the thing that we just watched, which was the ocean coming together.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize until, I knew what I wanted to do, what the goal was, that it needed some depth, but watching the ocean get deep and dark and really was really cool. So to be able to step outside of myself, because I never filmed this kind of stuff before. First time. So that was my favorite. I think was just watching it back.
Yeah, I love all these time lapses where we can see, like he just makes like 2 moves and the whole painting changes. I think that means he's a great artist. Thank you, Liz, Michelle, that you're connecting. Thank you, Cindy, Patty Rains, my mother. Thank you, mommy. She's very supportive.
Amazing.
Say hi to my mother, Mark.
Hi, Jimena's mother. She's very supportive of your art as well.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I just had a sneak peek at one of Jimena's new pieces that I won't talk too much about because it's a secret.
No.
But it was beautiful, so you have something to look forward to.
Thank you, Mark. So, so what would you like when you're a teenager? You have so many dreams, and maybe you love art and you love painting, but then like there's the society, and sometimes it's hard to be an artist in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's hard to know how you can like live from your art. So can you give an advice to kids about this, like to like chase their dreams, or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you what really got me going as a kid.
Yeah.
There was a really small little one of those local channels, cable channels that was only seen by probably a few hundred people, and there's this interview show on, and it was a science fiction author. I think he's a bit of a curmudgeon and like I don't know, not a negative Nelly necessarily, but yeah, kind of he's had his butt handed to him by by his life as an artist. And when he was asked the question, what advice you have for young artists, he said, don't do it.
Okay.
Yeah, because and I sort of read that as if you don't have to do it, then don't do it.
Okay.
If it's not something you absolutely need to do, like breathing and eating and whatever, because it is a hard life.
It is, yeah.
It's easy if you want to just make art and that's your side thing, but if you want to be an artist, I think that's a hard thing to it's a hard life, and I took that really well, that advice, because it said to me, like, that's the time to make your decision. Can you even make a decision? Because for me, as a young kid, I was always an artist, and the life was always going to be what it was: hard, easy, fun sometimes, glamorous sometimes, but mostly difficult, and not just the having to sell your work and make a living and pay your bills and all that stuff, but also just the emotional stuff you pour into, or it takes a toll, all that stuff, right? And you don't really, if you're really doing it, if it means something to you, it's costing you something, and it's also super fulfilling, obviously. Was it, again, I'm so bad at these quotes, but the Oscar Wilde, I'm gonna get anyway.
Coaches.
I do remember the Anthony Minghella, the filmmaker.
Yeah.
He made amazing movies. One of my favorite filmmakers at the time. He's gone past now, but he said the only thing worse than making a movie was not making a movie.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, I know he got that from an author who said the same thing about it, right? But so it's a thing you have in you, right? So I think the sooner you know, if you're a kid, if it's something you need to do, because if you need to do it, nobody's going to tell you you can't.
Yeah. Well, when you were saying that, I'm going to jump in a little bit. When you were saying like it's hard, life is already hard. That doesn't matter what you do. If you're an accountant, it's hard. If you're a lawyer, it's hard. If you're an architect, it's hard. So like it's less hard if you do what you love. Mm-hmm. No, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the other side, I mean, that's sort of the thing that kicked me into gear, because it had me thinking like, this is the do or die time. I either am or I'm not. Because art for me is the process. So you're not an artist if you're not making art, and vice versa, and all that stuff. So, but on the other side, I'd also tell young people out there, don't let anybody tell you that you're not an artist if you feel you are and you want to do it. And if it takes a long time for people to appreciate what you're doing, that's just what it is. You have to stay strong. So
when you were younger, or maybe it happens also right now, when you do something that you don't like how would you deal with frustration and not just say like, I'm not gonna do this anymore, and just like, no, I'm gonna continue. I don't care if I don't like it. I'm gonna continue. Like, what motivated you to continue and not just to like, besides the love for the art, but like.
I think it's the need to do it.
Okay.
Because I do. I can be a petulant child. I can have tantrums and throw things and tell anyone in the room. Hopefully there's no one in the room when I'm working, and I have those moments and I'm throwing my brushes and I'm like, I'm out of here. This is not this is not working.
Yeah.
The thing that brings me back is just that I need to just get back to it.
Yeah.
So I may take a couple days. I took one this week, that was just like, forget it, I'm done, and I went and sat in the pool.
Nice.
And, wherever is your place to whatever, and then go like, yeah, that's not gonna cut it. Get back to it. And I think that's part of what I'm talking about. If you don't have that inner, that just, you're hungry now, you have to go find some food, or thirsty, or you're drowning and you need to get some air, that's the same feeling that you have with art, I think.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have to do it, then what are you doing? Go do something else. Just awesome things to do.
Yeah. But it's so important what you're saying, to take a break and just like a day of yourself, and just because the art is so emotional.
Yeah.
No, that it can be very overwhelming.
And it takes a toll too, as far as not to be overly dramatic about it, but it's sort of like, it's a lot like the body, the soul, or whatever it is that fuels the art has to be recharged every once in a while, and you can burn out, and especially in deadline-based artistic fields.
Yes. We were like, Mark, we have to finish in 3 weeks. Okay, every day we were like, Mark, one less day. Mark, you have one. No, I'm kidding.
No problem.
Okay, so we're gonna watch another video of Mark's process, but before, I wanna remind you why we're here. We're here for an adventure in art with Mark, the grand finale. We're gonna announce the winner of the auction. We are taking biddings until 4 p.m. Thank you so much, Tracy, for connecting. Sarah Sparks, we love you.
Hey, you guys.
Michelle Hawk, hi. Thank you for connecting with us. So if you are gonna make your biddings, do it now. You have like 35 minutes before the bidding closes. Like I said before, this is one of Mark's last whales, just for a while. And this is for the Palapa Society, this is for the Palapa School, and for the community. I think like the youth is the one that are gonna change the world. So let's help them change the world. So here you go, let's see Mark with all the creative process.
We're getting down to the end here. Definitely the deadline. The finish line. And kind of maybe the one part of the process that a lot of people seem to be interested in. This is the digital part. This is the part that I talk a lot about the process. People come into the gallery, the studio, and I can show them a lot of, how I work. But this is the one part that I don't really show because it's, I don't like opening the computer, and this is kind of an intimate space. So we're going to jump into the digital realm, kind of like Tron. The next video, or we'll edit this video to kind of jump into the screen itself. But before we do, I'm just going to set it up a little bit. I got my computer open, I've got a file open, I'll talk more about that, and I've got my tablet, so that's where we do a lot of that. That's the interface. I guess the important thing that I wanted to mention, or the thing that, the process part that's interesting that I think is interesting, is that I used to be an illustrator. I used to be a commercial illustrator, and a lot of what I did was collage stuff. And then I got into film production design, art directing, production design, and got away from painting and drawing. Not drawing, but finishing illustrations. I would do a lot of drawing, communicate a lot with a pen and pencil or whatever, but never got a chance to, or rarely got a chance to finish work as a production designer working in film. It's a lot of hours. But what I could do is play around on the computer in a few spare moments I would have. So I started painting digitally in Photoshop as a kind of hobby, and also
as a kind of collector kind of person, I started looking for and purchasing custom Photoshop brushes. That is a whole cottage industry. Programmers are making brushes, digital brushes for Photoshop that emulate watercolor and palette knives and all that fun stuff. So I was playing around with a lot of that stuff while I was, 20 years in film, 25 years. And I knew that when I got back into the studio and could finish a painting, I wanted to be able to bring some of this stuff with me, some of the techniques that I was using. But I didn't want to go back to collage. I didn't want to stick paper on a surface, at least not right now. And so I was sort of experimenting with ways to get the digital painting that I was doing onto a canvas so I could continue the painting in an analog setting. So that's just a little bit of a setup of kind of how I arrived at this process that I've been using, and it's easier to show you, so we'll just jump into it. But I can quickly say that this is where we are with the painting. So basically what I do is, if you've been following along, you've seen that I've taken pictures of this just with an iPhone. And then I'll scan that, or I'll basically, with that iPhone picture, put it in Photoshop. So that's the next thing you're going to see. Also, that whale sketch that I did a couple of videos ago, or last video, or whatever, the charcoal drawing, that also, I take a picture of that, and that also will be put into the Photoshop file here. So I guess let's jump into that. So this is kind of a new experience for me. It's kind of like letting you guys into my bedroom. But here's our Photoshop file. I put the picture I took from my iPhone of the painting into this file. Also, I want to open my whale. She's now a she. The piece that we started with, the El Rey, the king, the piece that was on the Pacifico Journal, it's the same size, 3x4 feet, and I sort of was, at the beginning, used it as a reference, but it's the piece that we're doing here, I thought would be a nice kind of sister piece for it. So it's going to be the queen. This is Lorena, and here she is, the digital sketch that the charcoal sketch. And we're simply gonna cut her out here and put her into this painting. It's kind of as basic as that. We want to crank her a bit so she's an outline. Somewhere in there. And we're gonna really just kind of move her around until we find a thing that we like. I don't know if you still remember the El Rey piece, but he was kind of coming in from the side. And I want to kind of see all of her. So I'm going to put her kind of majestically sailing in the middle of the sky. For the sake of argument, let's say that's what she is there. I also imported a couple other whales. I don't do original sketches for each piece anymore because I have some poses that I really like from my other paintings. Those other paintings I did similarly to what you see here. She's a charcoal drawing. Sometimes it's just pencil, sometimes it's ink, and then I just keep them in a library, in digital library, to pop them in quickly and play around. So here's a guy named Top Whale. Here's a guy named Blurry Whale. There's a Mama Whale. There's Arched Whale. There's Al Ray, the king. He's the guy that was there before. I think, first of all, I think she should be not alone, but not too crowded. In the El Rey piece, I think there's 2 other whales, and of course I like odd numbers. So I'm thinking, well, let's go with that for now. And for sake of argument, let's put Blurry Whale down there. Again, sometimes so this guy was an ink drawing, I think. And we're gonna, this is all about composition at this point. I have a background I love. I really like where we're going with it. It will still get painted a little bit. I'm still unsure about this, some unresolved stuff in here, but overall this is basically the thing we're looking at. So now we're just sort of playing with where the whales want to be, and 2 whales might be actually all we need. Maybe we maybe we'll actually make her bigger and see how she sits here in the sky. Here's another ink. This is a mixed charcoal ink drawing. This is from a previous painting. So I can spend hours or days doing this, moving stuff around, sizing them. But I think, usually the gut reaction is the one. It's all about the queen for this one. So there she is. Maybe that's her partner El Rey in the background, or maybe just an old friend following her in the sky. I kind of like that the way it is. So we're going to save it. And this is where also I can sort of fill her in. Like this guy was an ink drawing, was an ink wash. You can kind of see India ink brush. I don't know that I did much to him digitally, but he transfers really well. I always call him Blurry Whale because he's a good background kind of whale. But for the foreground, I like the texture to be a little more extreme like this, a little more crunchy. I've got a bunch of brushes here. And basically what I'm going to do is just maybe fill her in a little bit. Not too much because I quite like the charcoal drawing, but you can see I've got a brush here. Just for sake of argument, let me show you what this looks like. It's kind of like a, I don't know what it is. It's kind of charcoaly. Let's zoom in, have a look. You know, it does this kind of odd, kind of cool texture thing, almost oil pastel like, and it goes really well with the charcoal. So hence, but like I said, you don't really need that much. And again, if it gets too black at this stage, too much dark area, it when it prints out, it gets kind of splotchy. So make sure she's black and white. Yeah, you know, I kind of like the way this is looking. I don't want to, I'm going to add a little bit to her fin. When it prints out, I need more of a line drawing anyway, so now maybe there's not much to show you here. This might be about what we're talking about. I really like this pose that I did in this quick sketch. Kind of captured her. I wonder if maybe she's a little fat. Maybe she needs to be stretched her out a little bit. And these are all the great things you can do digitally, right? And one of the reasons why I do it this way is because if I was drawing her out, you know, it worked out pretty well with the charcoal, you know, and I could easily do that on, I mean, I say easily on the painting itself, but actually if I screw it up, I'm having to paint over it on the painting, and then I'm losing some of this background that I kind of worked hard to get where I want it. So the background can stay where it is. I can work out the composition here digitally. I can add digital texture, painting texture, work on my compositions, size and scale of the things. Here's another thing maybe that we'll do. I brought in some birds. These are from also a previous painting. Might be fun for scale. We'll bring them in just to check it out. See what that looks like. These were just like quick ink sketches of birds that I keep in my files. And yeah, I think that's it. Save that. And basically what we're doing now is, so it's pretty basic what the process from here is. We lose the background, so we have just our ink layer, and we have to flip it because it'll be reversed when it prints out. It reverses, and it'll be a stamp, basically making a stamp for our transfer, and that'll be next. And I think that's all I have to say about this. I wish there was more stuff to do, but I'm really happy with this sketch, so I'm not going to fuck with it in the digital realm this time. But there we go.
because it's only 2 whales and some birds that are being transferred, it's not real rocket science. We want to find a rough placement. I want to find the rough placement that was in the image. I don't know if you can see this from where you are, way up there. This is what we're looking to transfer, these 2 whales and these birds. And, it doesn't have to be exact. In fact, because... but the orientation is really important. This curve is important, so to make sure that we're transferring it. So here's the process. I basically print out this black and white image. This has been reversed, flipped, because it'll be a stamp. Printed out onto these acetate sheets, which is like, ages me a little bit, but, overhead projector sheets. Basically, we're going to be printing out this image onto the acetate sheet, and then using that as a stamp to get the image onto the thing. And the tricky part is, which you'll see, I think I'll do it as time lapse because it takes a bit of time. But this is a fairly large image, 36 inches wide. So this is, that's a good size thing. The acetate sheets are 8.5 by 11, so it's going to take a few of these to make. One image. What's that? Maybe 3 of them potentially. 3, maybe. We'll see. 3 or 4, and then some birds. So there's no registration marks. There's no real guide other than I saved a little JPEG of my image that I'm kind of trying to place. So the cool thing is that there's little markers. I can see that some of this paint stuff is, and that's kind of how I'm going to start. And these print out fairly straight, so I know that if I can keep these aligned-ish to the edge of the panel, that will be fairly straight as we kind of tile across. But if it goes wonky, that's just part of the process. It's sort of, if it goes really wonky, then we just have to start over. But I've done this a few times. I'm a pro, so it's gonna go great. So here's our thing. Reversed image, the background's been blown away, so it's just the stuff we want to transfer. And I'll do the first one while we're talking here, and then I'll just put it in the time lapse. But of course, I love technology. This is the part that, maybe part of why I'm exposing this process is because it's probably on its last legs for me. I think I'm gonna kind of move on from it. But so we only print, so you can see here, I think you can see, hopefully you can see this, how big the whale is. This is our print area, and so we have to kind of go a little bit by bit. So we're going to start here. Somewhere up in here is her nose. You see the sort of reddish areas here, the blue line that goes through her body, and so little landmarks that we can go by. So start with her nose. And we just print in little pieces. Okay, so there's her nose. She's pretty big. She's a big girl. She's the queen. That's size as printed from the thing, printed reverse. So we just have to kind of rough it, I guess. I'm Might be in the way a little bit here for a minute, but getting the first one down is kind of important because everything else will be aligning to it as roughly as we can. What's called that? Try and. That looks about right. Maybe a little bit back. I mean, what we're doing here is transferring what I would call the underpainting. This is giving us the guide. Anything that is printer ink will be painted over anyway. So it's basically like a pencil drawing that we're transferring on. Instead of drawing right on the panel, I'm transferring it on. And again, the idea about the process, what I like about it is instead of just tracing it like I would normally do, maybe to get a little drawing onto a big, as a mural or on a big piece, a lot of artists would just put a projector up and trace the thing, which is fine. But I love doing this process. It really excites me to to see this thing come together. So this is how it's been working for me lately. And so I guess all we're kind of looking for, I guess what the most important thing is that we're kind of fairly squarish. And then we just rub it on. This is where you can really fuck up your fingernails. Some of these pieces, like 4 by 7 feet, can take 60 of these. There are burnishing tools, but I find using my hands is sort of the best. And you want to basically, I don't know, as a kid, did you ever do those iron-on, those transfer things, those things you use a pencil to like transfer on, basically like kind of iron-on stickers onto a background? This is that. Except we're making a run. I wonder maybe that's also what I like about it. Kind of the nostalgia of that. Anyway, what you want to do is, I've worked hard to get this Whale the way I like her with the charcoal and stuff. And even though she's getting painted over, I want as much of this on here as possible. And there's a lot of little tricky things about this. It looks easy. I make it look easy, right? It looks easy. But you don't want this to frequently things can like blah blah. The ink really smudges sometimes, gets if there's big black areas, it just sort of but you can see how cool the charcoal, with the little charcoal drawing we did that was in a sketchbook blown up, gives you this really nice texture. And that's kind of what excites me about this process specifically, as opposed to transferring it by tracing it on a projector. It sets me up already for something cool that inspires the next step. But yeah, one of the other tricky things is, of course, we're going on top of a pretty heavy textured paint. It's like, so there's going to be places where the ink just can't sit because there's grooves. And that's also what's cool about this process, what I like about it. I love stencils and stamps and that kind of shit. So the process inspires me. You can see kind of how it's going. It actually looks pretty good. I'm going to actually be there. So there, she's coming. I think And then yeah, really what I do is I reuse these because this is like a mono print, mono stamp, single use, and ideally we're getting as much of the ink on there so there's not a lot of waste, and we reuse these acetates. Me and all the parts of me are doing this. And all the kids at home. So there you go. There it is. Put it back in the printer to take the next round. And that's it. Oh shit.
I think we're on. I think we have audio.
We have audio?
We do?
Oh
I
shit.
think.
Do we have audio? Do we, Jamie?
I think we do.
Someone send us a text.
Can you
Do we
hear
have an
us?
audio? Can you hear us?
5200, latest bid.
5200!
They can hear us.
She's a killer?
Yes! Even without audio, we got 5200. That's good. Cheers.
Okay.
Okay, sorry for the technical problems.
But we are at what, 30 seconds or is it over? Are we at 4
It's
o'clock?
over. You
That's
have
it.
like 30 seconds. Come on, who's against who? 5200. Oh, 5300. We
Nice.
have 53 going at once. Going at.
It's not 4 yet.
It's not
Okay.
for yet.
You have 15 seconds. Oh! Well, I'm gonna give you 15 seconds because I just watched. Okay, you have 10, 9, 8,
54.
7, 54,
5400.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, one.
Going once.
Going once. Going twice.
Sold to somebody.
Sold to
Sold.
Tracy LaCroix.
Oh my goodness, Tracy!
Tracy!
Because Tracy is also a killer queen. She's a killer queen.
A queen for a
A
queen.
queen for a queen.
Congratulations, Tracy.
You
Thank
guys.
you so much for like fighting until the end.
Mhm.
Sorry for the other people that were bidding. Remember that you can still donate.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter if the bidding is over, you can still donate. All the information is down here below. Congratulations, Tracy. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
You're taking this amazing piece.
La Reina. Por
La Reina.
it's La Reina.
Uh-huh.
Part 2. For Tracy.
Talk a little about the process that we didn't
Yeah.
get a chance.
Do we
So-
want to have anything else? Well, we want to. Yeah, we do want to talk about a little bit of stuff.
Yeah.
I think.
So, when we went out of audio, we were talking about his adventure in Photoshop. So we're gonna continue with that. He was talking about how he loves the using Photoshop for his media.
I mean, yeah, I love the digital realm
Yeah.
because it's so. I mean, it's one of those exponential tools. You can just it goes on and on as things get better. And even in the early days, when it was a little clunky interface and things were like very digital looking, it still was exciting to use. But for me, always the earliest goal was that even if it's completely digital art, it didn't look like digital art,
yeah,
right?
Yes.
For me, the analog world is really. We were just talking about cyberpunk.
yeah,
The whole thing, even in a really modern world for me, is that it has an analog feel. It has that the art or the thing you're creating feels tactile. It feels like something real.
yeah,
And for me, creating something digital, always like ones and zeros, always needed to it needed to end in a result that
Yeah.
even if it was just printed out, that was very analog. So, I talked about it a little bit in the video, but it was a big deal that if I use this digital step in creating a painting, that it's enhancing the thing and not getting
Yeah.
in the way.
no.
Yeah.
You also like kind of like mixing because you cannot say this is better, you cannot choose, no? It's
Yeah.
about like mixing everything,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Well, and there's some
it's
digital art.
tools. It's tools.
It's tools, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I love that you can see that I use a palette knife.
Yes.
There's things that I love exposing the process in the final work. I love leaving the layers because of that it exposes my thought process. When I do drawings, when I do even finished illustrations, there's always things that aren't completely erased, but the digital tool for myself was always, it needed to be somewhat hidden unless you really know what you're looking for.
So talking about that and talking about like how now the kids of every school has been like dealing with this challenge that has been distance learning, and they've been like learning more about technology. Like if you've seen our newsletters in every student spotlight that we do, they have their cons and their pros, but one of the pros is like they learn how to use digital art, technology better. So they did this, the one of literature, they did this homework that they had to do. It was art based on a poem, and there's some that did some amazing Photoshop digital art. I think we're seeing it right now in the screen. This is hand painted. I know you can see it, Mark.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's hand painted, but then we have a couple that are made with that's computer, but that's beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's so pretty, and you can see how talented our students are. They're already into art, and we're very grateful that teachers are inspiring the students to go through those ways.
It's funny because you were saying it's a tool, and that's something you always have to remember, that being digital and having all that power, to create, it still comes down to the person saying something and creating something. And I think what you can see here is that the creative is enhanced by the tool, and the tool isn't a cheat. It's not getting in the way. It's enhancing someone's expression. And I think what I love about the digital realm, and I mean for myself, I like the analog feel as the end result, but I also love, for my own work. But I love, there's digital artists I love, and I think the earlier a young person, an artist, a potential artist is exposed to all the tools, the better. So they can learn. If they're not a watercolor artist and they get frustrated by certain things, that maybe this other tool has given them something to a voice, So it's really, that's amazing to have that education at an early age.
I actually think like everyone is an artist. They just like if they're not expressing it with art, it's because they didn't find a tool.
Right.
No, because there's so many tools like music, architecture, it's all tools.
Right.
Like instruments are tools, brushes are tools, technology is a tool. And it doesn't matter what type of, we are creating all the time, right? Like besides art, we are creators. No? You're creating your life, you're creating when you cook, you're creating your dish. When every day you're creating your day. No? So it's kind of like your masterpiece. Your life.
That's a nice way to put it.
Well, you've done a great job with everything, and Mark, it's like not complete because he's a whole artist. He's been using 3/4.
A good piece of the pie.
For him, but no, he's like a whole artist. So he's been using a lot of tools, and maybe I don't know if you can say no.
Okay.
Do you want to play something or not right now?
I don't know.
Or
if we've got some sound, maybe we could do that, but.
if we don't have sound, we'll be doing for 10 minutes.
I'm not sure. I don't know. We can, I don't know if we need to do the thing, but do we have any more videos, Ricardo? Any more? That's about it.
So,
and we have a winner.
We have a winner. So I think I think that we should sing a song for the winner.
Oh, okay.
First of all, I'm gonna thank everyone for tuning in. I'm gonna thank, obviously, the winner, which is taking the piece. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my phone, but I have to see all the messages. So thank you, Tracy LeCroix. Congratulations. Thank you, Hillary, for connecting. Thank you, Shay. Thank you, Robert Wood, for all your messages. Thank everyone for staying tuned. For everyone who's gonna keep watching. Thank you everyone that has donated. We wanna especially give a thank you to Baja Connect that they came and they I don't know what's the term, but did something to the internet so we could have really good internet so we could do this live stream. So when Mark comes back, he's gonna name the people that helped us. And remember, this is for the Palapa Society. This is not the end of our cause. We always need donations. The monthly donators are the ones that carry the whole foundation of the Palapa Society. We run by this monthly donation. So if you wanna know more about the Palapa Society, if you wanna make more donations, please, you have all the information down here. And we are very appreciate of your help. Every time we have a Becca success story, every time we talk to a student, every time we talk to a teacher, they are so happy to be part of the Palapa family, and we are so happy that you are part of the Palapa family. And we are, basically we pushed Mark for painting in 3 weeks, and now we're pushing him to sing. So he has to what else can you do?
I can cook.
Oh, you can cook? Can
yeah.
you cook right now while you're singing
Yes.
and painting?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
I'm
So
gonna up one Joseph Arthur, and I'm gonna add some cooking to the whole thing.
Okay. Oh, be careful.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
I you only have 2 hands, but yeah.
Well, he's cooking or something after we finish.
Yes.
So.
Charcuterie for all.
Yes. So are you gonna sing for Tracy?
I'll do a song for Tracy. Yeah, sure I will. Is Tracy in town yet? She's coming though. I know she's coming. She said she was on her way, but maybe not here yet. But yeah, I was gonna say, if you want to hear me sing, I just come over to the brewery on Sunday and
Please.
and do that. But I'll do a song.
But also, please do. The brewery has always been so supportive of everyone in this community.
Yeah.
So if you want
So yes, I'm gonna say Todos Santos Brewery, not just supportive of everyone in this community, but through the pandemic has been a real savior. Following protocols, barely scraping by. I don't think they'd mind me saying that because it's been tough for all businesses around, especially as a restaurant, as a brewery, and also as a live music venue, which is something that we all I think are fearful that we're going to lose.
Yes.
There are definitely things that have closed that will never come back. But in our town, Liz and Ted and the brewery have been kind of a little beacon.
Yeah.
So and I had the honor of being able to play there when there was nowhere else to play because they were so strict with their protocols and create a safe space for all of us. So I'll be there on Sunday.
What time?
With my friend Lucas, probably around 6 o'clock, playing original songs and acoustical mostly, and
So this is just a taste of
Just
what
a
you
taste.
can see. So you have to RSVP at the Todos Santos Brewery?
I think you do.
Okay, you have to book your table because we're in this
We're still at a certain
Times.
capacity. Mm-hmm.
and that's it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't have a lot of super positive songs. I have no songs about Queens, unfortunately. But this is a song about what?
You don't have songs about Queens?
I don't.
What?
I know.
Maybe he gets inspired and he does a song about a queen.
I'm gonna definitely have to do that. But this is a song about constantly improving
Oh.
as an artist.
Okay.
So it's more about writing songs, but you can apply it to painting.
Okay.
You can apply it to cooking,
Okay.
poetry. And it's called Good Song. Can you hear this okay, Ricardo? Everybody hear this okay out there, kids of the world? Here we go. Until I find a new one, might as well be you. Until I write a good song, that's all I have to do. I've been around long enough to see it through. Seems the worse that you treat me, the better the two. And if you're gonna be kicking me out, then I guess I'll be leaving here soon. But if you're not ready, then I'm not ready to go. How many mistakes do you admire? Curse you all to hell for putting out the fire. Until I find a new one, might as well be you. Until I write a good song. Until I write a good song. Until I write a good song. This'll have to do. This'll have to do. This'll have to do. This'll have to do. Oh, might as well be you. You guys have been great.
Thank you
Cheers,
so
Annette.
much.
Thank you, darling.
Cheers.
Thank you so much. You made this so much fun. Ricardo, thank you, my friend.
Yes, Ricardo. There's like Ricardo and Jesse and Jamie
Jesse and
doing
Jamie.
all these things.
There's so many ghosts.
That's-
There's so many
exactly.
spirits behind the scenes.
Yes, that we couldn't do anything without them,
Yeah.
and
And
we're
all the
so
people at
thankful.
Palapa Society.
All the people at Palapa Society,
Yeah.
or the kids that inspire us. That's
Yeah.
it's you that we are doing this.
Mhm.
All the board, all the teachers, everyone, all the donors, all the artists, everyone at this community.
Thank you all for tuning in. Thanks
Exactly.
everybody who bid and donated. This has been an amazing experience for me. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Thank you so much. So remember, you can still make donations from Palapa. Remember to visit Galeria Militar, either the website or the place if you're here in Todos Santos. Come visit. It's an adventure just to come in, and it takes you to another age, and it's so interesting. It's just like it's a trip with textures and colors. So thank you so much,
Yes,
Mark.
yes,
Thank you
yes.
so much for your time and for your heart, and thank everyone, and have a really, really good weekend.
Mhm.
Bye.
Happy Friday.